Welcome to this instructor development course on preparation. I'm Brooke Ostrander with BKD Learning. Throughout my 18-year career in learning and development, I have spent considerable time both instructing as well as evaluating instructors. I'm pleased to be sharing some preparation tips with you today. I would like to say that I've had a flawless career and every session I've taught has been amazing. The truth is I've been burned a time or two when I haven't had time to sufficiently prepare. Throughout this course, I will show you how you can have more impact as an instructor through proper preparation, even when you are strapped for time. We will be discussing the importance of preparation and focus, the need to start preparing early, knowing your audience, including tailoring your message to their needs, and planning ahead to arrange logistics. We will be specifically discussing how fulfilling these objectives impacts your ability to present the content in a way that allows your audience to absorb the information. In order to be an effective instructor, you will need to know the content and be prepared to present it in a way that drives your audience to not only listen, but apply what they learn. Now, more than ever, it is critical to understand your audience, their perspectives, challenges, and interests. In order to motivate, you will need to be able to express how the content will benefit participants. A little bit of planning up front can make all the difference on stress levels, effectiveness, and a smooth delivery. There are many theories regarding how best to prepare and how much time to spend. The practical rule of thumb is 2 to 4 hours of preparation per hour of instructing. There are formulas that suggest up to 10 hours per hour of instructing. Your familiarity with the content, the makeup of the audience, the intensity of the program, and expectations for outcomes will all contribute to the amount of time required. Everyone is different. Some people are better at thinking on their feet, whereas others need more time to feel comfortable fielding questions. Rather than sticking to a formula or flipping quickly through a PowerPoint, spend some time recognizing your strengths and weaknesses. Determine where your time will be best utilized. Do you need more practice with presentation skills? Are you weak on any of the areas of content? Are you unfamiliar with the audience? Spend your limited time where it will be the most impactful. Take a few minutes to think through your responses to the following questions. How are you currently preparing for your sessions? Is it working? How do you anticipate the hundreds of things that could go awry during a training session? How do you prepare in a way that is time conscious? Self-awareness is key to successful preparation. Asking for feedback is a great way to determine where you should focus your preparation time. There are many reasons to give presentations. You could be selling, informing, reporting, training, or even entertaining. While there is overlap in presentation skills regardless of your intent, your purpose will largely impact your focus and tactics. In this course, we will be concentrating on presenting from a corporate training perspective. Training, especially technical training, differs from on-the-stage presentations, from the way you are introduced, to how you structure your presentation, to how you prepare. There are 3 primary instructor objectives. 1, promote knowledge and skill acquisition. As the instructor, you are a key piece in the transfer of knowledge. The instructor's purpose is to leverage their skills, knowledge, and experiences to get others up to speed quickly. We want participants to walk away with a clear understanding of the objectives and be able to immediately implement them into their daily tasks as they leverage your lessons learned. Number 2, emphasize learning through engagement. The more engaged your participants, the more likely they will remember and apply what they are being taught. We have found that it isn't the most polished instructors that receive the best evaluations, but the ones that involve their audience. Spending time thinking through questions you will ask, stories you will tell, and opportunities for participants to share their knowledge and practice what you are teaching them will make all the difference. Finally, companies need sessions to be more consistent regardless of the instructor or the day they took the course. The assessments at the end of the courses not only test the learning of the students, but also the focus and preparation of the instructor. The earlier you review your content, the less actual time you will need to invest and frustrations you will encounter. Reviewing the content early allows you to passively work on your presentation while you go about your daily tasks. Do your homework so you won't be caught off guard. Here are a few things to consider as you prepare. Review the content for accuracy. Does anything need to be updated? Is there anything that doesn't flow well? Give yourself enough time to make updates or revisions to the content, especially when content needs to be printed or distributed beforehand. Follow up with previous instructors, program managers, and peers. Ask them for feedback on the content, attendees, current issues, what worked and what didn't. This may sound like an added step, however, a simple conversation up front will save you time and help you evade potential issues. Research current issues related to the topic. Study the topic, news, impact, and related issues. Talk to experts if you aren't one. Ask questions whenever something is unclear. Anticipate issues and concerns. Spend some time on areas where you are seeing the most issues. Are there errors leading to higher costs or injuries? Repeated concerns or complaints from clients? If so, those are areas that need to be addressed and a great place to share an experience and show the urgency of change. Plan ahead in case you need to research issues and the impact. Determining your purpose and your objectives is critical to maintaining focus on your why and how you want participants to perform at the end of the session. If you are not sure of your objectives, the introduction of topics that are not relevant are likely. Reinforce often. After you complete a concept, make sure you circle back to the key objectives so participants leave remembering the main points. Focus on application and challenging thinking helps to reinforce concepts. You will need to simplify the topic for the participants. This includes paying attention to words and acronyms that need to be defined, as well as starting from your audience's level of knowledge. The goal of each session is to have a clear delivery with a concise and relevant message. As an instructor, you need to be able to break down your message so that those without a background in the topic can follow along. Your purpose isn't just to read bullet points, but to help ensure the content is applied to change behavior. It takes time to get comfortable and customize the material you are covering. Think through how you can make the content critical to a participant's success and show them how to apply the content. Review the presentation holistically. How will you set the table or paint a picture of the issues or values and the importance of the audience? How will you highlight key ideas? What are the major sections of the content? What examples, stories, scenarios could you share to solidify key points? Review transitions to create a natural flow. Many instructors flip through the content and review what is on each slide, but don't pay attention to transitions, what is coming next, or sections of the content. This is why they find themselves covering content out of sync with slides, or switching slides and having to pause to remember what is supposed to be covered. Thinking through the structure of the presentation will help create a smoother presentation. Prepare to answer questions by thinking through what you may be asked and how you would respond. Many instructors fall into the trap of being overly anxious to share everything they know. It's important to remember that your knowledge was built up over time. There's a limit to how much information a participant can absorb in one sitting. Doing a data dump may cause the participants to leave the course thinking you are smart. However, it won't help the participants absorb the information they need to learn. Focus on what needs to be used. The more organized you are in your delivery, the easier it will be for participants to absorb and transition the information into their long-term memory. Structured, step-by-step information is easier to remember than random bits of unrelated data. Chunking information into how it will be used will help you as well as participants to focus. The more complex the information you teach, the more important it is to stay on topic. Unrelated information or details distract the participants, making it more difficult to focus and remember. It's important when you are sharing a story or example that it directly ties into your message. Relating new information to things participants already know also helps them to determine relationships and makes concepts easier to absorb. Building on existing knowledge is very helpful. For example, if you are teaching about a new process, you could explain why the process is necessary and share a story about the impact that resulted in the change. Then you could compare the new process to the previous one. It's faster to just show the new process. However, it's more likely for participants to implement the new process with fewer errors if you take the time to explain why it's important, make it memorable, and facilitate the learning of the new process. In a study conducted at Stanford University by Chip and Dan Heath for a book called Made to Stick: Why Some Ideas Survive and Others Die, they found if a story was used, then 63% of listeners remembered details from the presentation. If statistics were used, 5% remembered details. The three contributing factors for remembering were 1, emotion, 2, there was a single point, and 3, a story was told. Consider Benjamin Franklin's quote, "Tell me and I'll forget, show me and I may remember, involve me and I learn." If you can find ways to help the participants engage with the content, they are much more likely to remember. Before your presentation, consider how you will involve your audience and help the content become more sticky or easier to remember. Introductions grab the attention of the audience, and conclusions tell them why they need to implement what they learned. Your introduction should convince the audience that it is worth listening to your message. It sets the tone for the session and can determine whether or not your audience will stay engaged. It's a great time to build rapport, create a positive first impression, establish credibility, show value, and break the ice. The way you end your session is equally as important as how you begin. You will want to summarize the objectives so that the audience walks away with the main topics fresh in their minds. As you're ending the session, make sure to summarize the objectives and ensure there are no remaining questions. Challenging the audience is a call to action and a great way to re-engage them. Consider how you can inspire participants to use the information you shared right away. We recommend you write out your conclusion and practice. Finally, thank participants for attending and for their contributions. Let's take a minute to review. Select the best response, then click the check mark in the bottom right-hand corner to see how you did.